Good luck.
Thank you. Hi there, folks. It's 6 o'clock. My name is Taylor Long, and I'm the Associate Planner for the Town of Normal here. And what we're here to do tonight is conduct a public hearing for the Town of Normal's Community Development Block Grant Program, or CDBG program. Specifically, an amendment we're proposing to the town's current 5-year consolidated plan. That's essentially your 5-year budget and community needs assessment for this funding. As well, what's included in that is your first year action plan, or your essentially your budget for your first year of your plan there. So currently what we're in is the 20 to 2024 consolidated plan and 2020 to 2021 action plan. So what we're proposing is an amendment to that, and I'll get into some details here in a bit. But as you all know, if you're watching on YouTube here, of course, this virtual hearing is being conducted virtually. And that's due to the pandemic, of course, and the need to keep each other safe and just go about appropriate protocols right now. So it's routinely the case that these public hearings are held in person at the Normal Public Library, and as soon as we can, we'll get back to doing it that way. But in the meantime, here we're conducting this virtually. So if you happen to be watching on YouTube and would like to take part, would like to join, please just email me at tlong, T-L-O-N-G, @normal.org, or call or text me at 309-212-6881. And here, after a brief presentation I'm going to flash up a screen that gives some instructions on how to do that again. So if you happen to be watching on YouTube, would like to join, there are some instructions there in the description underneath the kind of the caption for this video. But if you'd like to join, just get a hold of me and we'll admit you, and I'll start back over in the presentation or whatever we need to do to make sure you can provide comment and ask any questions you might have. So with that, like I said, I'm just going to get into a brief presentation here describing what we're doing. So I'm going to share my screen if I can. There, I think we got it. So I'll make this full screen. So as I said, this is a public hearing. This is going to run from 6 to 7 tonight. So if any point before 7 o'clock you'd like to join, just get a hold of me, as I said. So provide a little bit of background. I'm going to hide this. There we go. A little bit of background here. The town of Normal, like many communities here in the U.S., receives community development or community development block grant, or CDBG funds, and these come from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also referred to as HUD, abbreviated. Entitlement communities, those are the name of communities that receive these funds, as I said, have to submit a 5-year plan and additionally an annual plan for the use of these funds. So the town's current plan I described is the 2020 to 2024 consolidated plan, which includes this first year's budget or action plan for 2020, 2021. And that was drafted over the course of 12 months in partnership with McLean County Regional Planning Commission and the City of Bloomington. And after about a year's worth of work, it was approved by the Normal Town Council in January of 2020. And as we all know, the world changed a little bit there after January. And so in response to that, the U.S. federal government passed the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act. And as part of that, municipalities that normally receive CDBG funds received special allocations of CDBG-CV, or coronavirus funding. And here's a description of the 2 different allocations that the town has received, and I'll get into those here in a little bit. But anything you do with these funds, CDBG has the normal goal of benefiting low to moderate income families and individuals and neighborhoods. Principally, it kind of has a housing focus, but it's certainly an income qualified focus. And so anything you do with these CDBG CV funds, you want to keep that in mind, as well as work to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus locally. So with this new funding, or any new funding you received during a 5-year consolidated plan's kind of life, or during an action plan year, you have to revise or amend your plan and account for what you're going to do with it. A municipality must. And so that's what's being proposed here tonight. So just to describe what that first CDBG CV allocation went toward, as you'll recall from that earlier slide, it was in the amount of $246,067. And so after the town learned of this allocation, it got right to work with its partners at the partners on a municipal level, as well, more importantly, service providers here in the community, folks like Mid-Central Community Action, the townships, PATH, of course, and just get to work on figuring out what the greatest needs were relating to the pandemic at that time, back in March when all this was first starting. We're months ahead of that, or months into that now. But at that time, and still, I believe here at the town, we believe it's pretty true, the 3 main priorities at that time were food, housing, or rent, utility, and mortgage assistance, and health, or kind of more specifically, mental health needs. Those were the chief priorities that came out of that survey and months of outreach and consultation with service providers. And so it was determined at that time, and again, we still believe to be the case, that food and health needs are being adequately addressed with other more appropriate funds. As I said, CDBG CV funds, there are CV or just regular CDBG funds, are kind of tied to just low income support, but kind of with a housing focus. And so when you have a housing need, it's kind of easiest to put CDBG fund or CDBG CV funds toward that end. A lot of abbreviations here. So the town council then, after this work was done, this outreach proposed a revision, or approved a revision to the 5-year and current action plan, the 2020 to 2021 action plan. And that included the CDBG CV priorities listed above and a focus then on housing assistance. That was approved in July 2020. And not long after then, the COVID-19 related housing assistance program was created. And this is a valued and treasured partnership we have with Mid-Central Community Action. And I'll get into that in a little bit here, but by the end of 2020, that program was funded with this full allocation, this $246,067. And so while we're talking about the housing assistance program, I want to provide a little bit of information about it. So if you happen to be watching on YouTube, and this is of some, if you're in need or you happen to know others that are, please just refer to the contact information I've given here, and will flash up on the screen in a little bit. Just contact the town or contact Mid-Central Community Action, call 211. If you're in need or happen to be seeing this on YouTube and know those that are, just reach out. So as I said, this is a program that's funded by the town, but is a partnership with Mid-Central Community Action in its administration. So it was easy. We're lucky that Mid-Central Community Action wanted to partner on this program. They just have the expertise and provide this kind of housing assistance on a year-to-year basis anyway. And it's just kind of part of their core mission. So it made sense to partner where we could there. The town certainly didn't have an expertise in that field. What this program is able to provide is up to 3 months worth of rent, mortgage, and/or utility bill assistance. The only real requirements, as I said, there's an income component to it, but what's more important, kind of chief among requirements, is that you live in Normal and have experienced pandemic-related job or income loss. Other than that, then it kind of built into the program is that we're capped at being able to help with a maximum of $1,000 per month or $3,000 in total per 12-month period. So that's kind of the situation there. And as of today, 38 Normal households have been assisted with over $5,000 worth of assistance. And so as yet, we've not had a mortgage assistance case, but so all of these assistance cases have been either rent or utilities, some combination of the two. And I'd say there's roughly about 30 applications under review right now. That's probably putting it lightly. And we field calls for new applications and assistance requests each day here at the town and also at Mid-Central. I'll add here a note that there was a sharp uptick in applications since the first of the year. And with that said, there's roughly $190,000 remaining in the fund or in this program currently. So I'm going to proceed here to the next slide. Back to the core of what this public hearing is seeking to provide input on is the proposed amendment to the town's 5-year and 1-year consolidated or 1-year action plan. And so what we're proposing at this time is to allocate that second CDBG CV allocation, that $335,359 to the COVID-19 related housing assistance program, the one I just described. And so there, I just want to walk through the reasoning for this, for why town staff is comfortable making this proposal, proposing this amendment to council, and ultimately ready to proceed in this way. So the reason being that one of them is that CDBG CV funds are right now the most readily available funds to Normal residents in need, specifically those that have had job or income loss tied to the pandemic. So a lot of the funds that usually exist that are able to help folks here in the community, like some of the funds that Mid-Central Community Action administers, those funds have run out at this time, and they'll no doubt be renewed in the future. But at this time, CDBG CV funds are the most readily available to those in need here in Normal. Additionally, we all know that the eviction moratoria here, the state and federal one, and the pauses on utility shutoffs will eventually come to an end, and we fear that there'll be quite a deluge of assistance requests that comes when that does, and it's just bound to. So with this additional funding put into the program, we feel we'd be in a great position to be helpful. Finally, then there was some local research conducted by the McLean County Regional Planning Commission that suggests that income losses just over the past 9 months have created over $600,000 worth of housing assistance needs. So either rent, mortgage, or utility assistance needs. So that was the past months, and as we know, um, things aren't improving very rapidly. So we have to consider that this need is carrying forward and will only be added to, and hopefully something changes there. But again, we're making this proposal to add more funding to this program just so that we can we believe it to be the best use and the greatest use of these funds currently. So a requirement here is that any municipality that kind of gets funds have to be allocated within the program year that they're announced. So before the end of March here, March 31st, 2021, that's the end of the town's fiscal year, these funds have to be put towards some use. And at this time, we're very confident that they could conceivably all be used through the town's housing assistance program. That said, if needs change in the future, if a state or federal program comes along that can more easily or quickly do away with the rental or housing utility arrears that exist here in the community, um, you know, we could reallocate these funds. The town council could take that action, and there could be another amendment to this plan, just as there's one right now being proposed. Another one could be done in the future, but there would be a public process, and as I said, council and HUD approval that would come along with that. But we have to be very careful about making that kind of change. We'd want to consider um, the picture out there, and it may be the case that there is an additional greater need that's out there. We'd have to consider that and consider the housing picture before making any kind of change. So with that, I just want to provide some information on how best to provide public comment and kind of the next steps here. So right now we're in the midst of an 18-day public comment period. That'll run from February 4th, or that is running from February 4th through next Sunday, February 21st. That's 11 more days of comment after tonight. There's more information available on the town's website at this link you see here about this proposed amendment rather, and the plans that are in action right now, as well as other programs. Any comments can be provided in writing to the address you see here or to the email address there. My personal email address, tlong, T-L-O-N-G, @normal.org. It's usually not the case that public comments can be accepted through email, but we're happy to make that concession right now due to social distancing. We want to make it possible for people to provide comment as easily as possible. So that said, this proposed amendment after tonight and after the close of the public comment period on the 21st will go to the Normal Town Council for review at its Monday, March 1st meeting at 7 p.m. If you happen to be watching and would like information about how to take part in that meeting, provide comment at the beginning of it or thereafter, just please reach out to me or just keep an eye out for the usual notification that goes out for that meeting. And that'll again be held over Zoom. Thereafter, it'll be submitted, the proposed amendment will be submitted to HUD for approval on March 3rd, if approved by the Normal Town Council. So with that, I'd like to open it up to any public comments or questions. As yet, we've not had any members of the public register to speak. And so with that said, I've got a screen up here that I'm going to leave up for the remainder of this 1 hour public hearing rather. This provides information about what's being discussed tonight, as well as how to join this public hearing. If you're watching on YouTube at any time you tune in here in the next hour or next 45 minutes you can contact me at tlong@normal.org or call or text me at 309-212-6881. And additionally, here at the bottom of the screen, there's a link to where this information is available on the town's website. So for all those that happen to be watching on YouTube, I thank you for doing so. If you're watching this days in the future too, I appreciate it. And please know that comments can be submitted in writing, either to an address that's noted on the town's website or in writing to the email address you see here. So appreciate your time. And again, if you'd like to contact us at any point before the end, before 7 o'clock here, please just do so, and be happy to take your comments and answer any questions you have. So thank you. Hello, this disembodied voice is Taylor Long with the Town of Normal, Associate Planner here. I'm just reaching out before the end of the public hearing here at 7 p.m. just to thank anybody who happens to watch this on YouTube and that provides comment in the coming days. And just to that end, remind anyone that if you've not been able or didn't provide comment this evening, if you'd like to, you have 11 days after tonight's public hearing, 11 days before the end of the public comment period on February 21st to do so. Just email me at the address you see here, tlong, T-L-O-N-G, @normal.org, or to an address that's listed there at the link on the town's website there. Just provide comment if you have any to offer. Be happy to collect it and present that to the town council for review at its Monday, March 1st regular meeting. So again, just thank you all. Anyone who happens to be watching this and that might come to provide comment in the coming days. But thank you all. And this public hearing will conclude in about 3 minutes at 7 p.m. And just again, thank you and take care all.